Hey everybody, it's Kelly with Inky Hands Warm Hearts. How are you guys? So happy to be here with you today. I am bringing you another fun video and I hope that you will enjoy it. If you don't mind giving me a thumbs up and sharing my video, I would greatly appreciate that. Helping me grow my channel is the biggest compliment that you could give me, so I really appreciate all of your support. And let's go ahead and get started. Today we're going to make the cutest candy corn square pumpkin treat box. Here it is, full of candy corn, and it is adorable. So it has a lid, and I'm going to teach you how to make this cute little pumpkin. We're using the Pick of the Patch stamp set, and I've also used the Distress Tile 3D embossing folder as well. I really love it, and it's fantastic for fall projects. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, and the Pick of the Patch is a punch bundle, so there's also a punch that we're going to be using today as well. So I'm just going to stick that over here in the corner and get it out of the way. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to start with our base and our top pieces. So the base for our pumpkin box is a window sheet, and I've cut that 4 inches by 8.5 inches. And you can't see it yet, but it's right here on my table. We're gonna do a little scoring with it. You'll be able to see it a little better on my Simply Scored. And our window sheets are pretty thick, so you have to do some pretty good scoring on it. We're gonna score down the 8.5 inch side first. So I'm gonna hold it in place, and I'm gonna score it at the 2 inch mark. And I'm gonna go over it a couple times. Really make sure that I have a nice, indentation there. Our next score is going to be at 4 inches. So let's go ahead and give that a few passes. And then at 6 inches. And then at 8. All right. Now we're going to turn it 1/4 of a turn clockwise, and we're going to go score it at 2 inches. All the way to the bottom. I'm going to do it a few times and really get a good impression on my piece. I'm also going to turn another way, and I'm going to go ahead and go back over these score marks and just make sure that they are in there really, really well. Okay? So there is our window sheet. You end up with 4 squares and 2 skinny rectangles on the side. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to cut and put this together. But while we're scoring and I have the board out, let's go ahead and grab our top piece, and I'm going to talk to you about it. I have already ran it through the embossing folder. See how beautiful that is? So pretty. And it is a piece that was 3 1/8, which is 1 tick past the 3 by 3 1/8. Okay, and you're gonna score that at 1/2 inch. Okay, and then 2 5/8 inch. And then you're gonna rotate it and do the same thing at 1/2 inch. And 2 5/8 inch. So the same on both sides. When you do that, you end up with 1 square in the center, and then 4 tiny squares in the corner, and then 4 skinny rectangles. Okay, I have done some cutting just to make it a little bit quicker for us, so that you don't have to sit and wait for me to do all of this cutting. So for this piece, you want to cut on the line where the small rectangle, where the small square is, and then you want to do on the opposite side as well. Okay, and you're going to do some burnishing. So I'm going to go ahead and press with my fingers here. I'm not going to use my bone folder on this part because I don't want to smush my embossing that's on here. So I'm just going to be real careful and make sure that I use my fingers and get those scores pressed and in place. on all 4 sides. All right, I think we're good now. So this is our lid to our box, okay? And now we have our window sheet. So I'm gonna grab my bone folder for this. This one definitely needs some good scoring on those, because our window sheets are nice and thick. You need to really use your bone folder and get those nice indentions in there. Okay, and then here's our piece with the small rectangles, skinny rectangles. All right, so there's one, and now we're gonna do down the center. And again, I'm gonna turn and use my bone folder and get, okay, this is a nice stiff bottom of our box. All right, so for this piece, we're gonna put the skinny rectangles on the right side, and we're gonna trim away this little section right here, this the bottom skinny rectangle. So we're gonna come up along that score line, and it's hard to see because of course it's see-through, but we're gonna get it there. And then we're gonna trim right there. Okay, so that got rid of that skinny piece from that side. We're gonna discard that. Now we're gonna cut up these squares at the bottom, and I'm gonna cut on both sides of my score line. I want to have a nice area that's gonna fit nicely and is not going to have any thickness in there. So we want to cut on both sides of the score line so that there's no bulk when we put this box together. This is really key, especially using this window sheet. So you want to go on both sides and try and go as straight as you can. When you get to the center, you're going to just wiggle that piece until it releases. And we got one more to go. All right, so we're gonna go up. And up. All right. And we're gonna tear that little piece off. All right, so let me try and put it in place. I'm gonna try and smooth it from the other side. So what you have here is you've cut off this bottom little long rectangle, and then you have tab pieces that you've separated the squares at the bottom. The ones on the top are still put together. All right, we're going to use our Stampin' Seal to secure this box together. So I'm gonna grab my silicone mat, and the first thing I'm gonna do is turn this last skinny tab in. And I'm gonna make sure that I am putting full adhesive right up that tab. Because the seal is see-through, it's really awesome. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring this piece over, and we're gonna join our box. And you wanna make sure it's nice and straight, and you can run your bone folder over that piece where you put the seal, okay? And then that forms our box top, or the base. We're gonna fill the bottom, okay? So I like to take the piece that has that adhesive on it, and I always like to make that the back of my box. So if anything is sticking out here, we wanna trim that. So we're gonna grab our scissor and trim any excess that we have sticking out. We're gonna make sure it's nice and straight, and any excess that we have sticking up, because like I said, it's very hard to maneuver this window sheet. So if there's any extra pieces, you want to go ahead and grab them now before you start folding in your sides. So since this is the back of our box, this flap here is the front. Okay, so it's going to be the last one that I put in. So since that's the last one, what I want to do is I want to turn in the sides first. So we're going to do one at a time. So put both of those in. Then our third piece, okay? And I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive just along this line here to help adhere it to those two pieces at the back. And you want to make sure that we got a nice squared piece. So when you attach this, make sure that all your edges are nice and straight, that you're good to go. I'm going to bend this piece forward, and I'm going to double check that I don't need to trim anything off. And if I do, I'm going to bring my scissor in right along this edge, and this is where you want to trim, because once you turn your last piece and glue it down, there's no trimming. Okay, so you want to make sure that your box is nice and square. So I'm going to put adhesive right on this edge. I'm going to run that right along this side here, and we're going to secure it. Now that adhesive is going to be along the back side of our box. Okay, I'm going to use my bone folder. I'm going to press it down in here. You know it's the back because that's where the seam is. Okay, so now we have our box base put together. We're going to grab our candy corn. We're gonna, I was scared to put too much into this one because I wanted to make sure I had enough, but I think we have just enough for both boxes. So I got the candy corn at my local dollar store. I'm not a huge fan of candy corn, but my daughter loves it, so she will be getting this candy corn that's left. All right. This will be her little pumpkin. All right, so now we're done with our Stampin' Seal. I like to use wet adhesive or the green and white glue for my paper gluing. It would just take too long to wait for the multi-purpose glue to stick to the window sheet. It will bond the window sheet. It just takes time, and I didn't want you guys to have to sit and wait. So now these little tabs that we have made here, these little squared ends, they're going to get the wet adhesive. Oh, before I do that, I forgot. I want to punch a hole in the top because I would like to put a ribbon through there. So I've marked with a pencil the center, and I'm just going to push a piercing tool that I have right through the center. I couldn't find my Stampin' Up piercer, so I just grabbed the one I had. I don't mind using the Take Your Pick tool, but I feel like a paper piercer is a lot sharper than the Take Your Pick tool because I use my Take Your Pick tool all the time. And see how I'm rotating it in a circular motion? That's giving me a nice wide circle so that I can fit my ribbon through there, because we're going to put ribbon for the stem of our pumpkin. Okay, so we want that to be nice and big. All right, so now we can add our glue. So we're going to go ahead and put adhesive on one at a time, but we're going to put it on the corner squares, and we're going to hold it nice and tight. And we're going to put on this side. Okay, 2 more to go. I'm going to go ahead and put glue on both of them at the same time. And that should free us up. Oh, looks like I didn't hold this one long enough for it to bond. Make sure that those two sides are nice and connected. All right, and let's do our last two sides. So this is going to be our lid for our box. So you want to make sure that it's nice and square, that your corner pieces bond really well. So that's why I'm working my way around here. And then I have a length of ribbon. This is from the Garden Green and Real Red ribbon pack. Oh, actually, Real Red and Garden Green ribbon combo pack. So I'm using the Garden Green color. And I probably have about 6 inches because this mat's about 6 inches. So yeah, about 6 inches. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to tie it like, you know how you tie the end of a balloon? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wrap it around my finger and I'm going to take these tails and push it through that loop. And make sure that both of them make it through here. I'm going to try that again because I let go. Always when I'm on camera. All right. So we'll grab those, bring them through. All right, and we're gonna hold on to that. And I don't want my stem to be too tall, so I'm gonna slide that knot up and make sure that this part we can cut off, but we want to make sure that our stem of our pumpkin is not too tall. So we want to move the knot until it's nice and tight, but that you've secured a decent stem for your pumpkin, okay? So once you've done that, you're gonna kind of yank on it, tighten it really good, and we're gonna trim this end because we don't want it to show or be mixed into our candy corn. So I'm just gonna grab my paper snips. And I'm gonna just trim right underneath that knot. Okay, so there's the little tab. And I'm gonna discard these pieces. All right. So now we're gonna put it through that hole. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of form it into a little arrow by folding that piece over. And from the back, I'm gonna fish that tiny little piece and yank on it till it comes through, and then there is our pumpkin stem. So there's our lid, okay, on our square candy corn pumpkin. All right, so here's our candy corn. Now we got to decorate the top. So we're gonna grab some Granny Apple Green and a scrap of basic white, and the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna stamp some leaves. So the way that the punch is set up, right here at the bottom is where we're going to punch our leaves. So we want to make sure that we stamp it the same direction that it will fit into the punch. So we're going to go ahead and ink that up, and we're going to stamp that right there. And then I'm going to do another one. I'm going to leave a little space right there. And then I'm gonna stamp this cute little crow. Well, actually, I'm gonna stamp my words and then I'll stamp the crow. So the words say, pick of the patch. I'm also stamping it in Garden Green on this scrap of Granny Apple Green. I'm gonna leave some room because I wanna kind of cut it into a tag. All right, so now that I've done that, now I'm gonna clean my stamp and then I can stamp my crow. Gonna clean my leaf. Scrap. The crow doesn't matter because we're gonna fussy cut him out, so we're just gonna ink him up, get him nice and dark. Make sure he's well loved and well inked up. He's gonna go over here on the side out of the way. All right, make sure. I'm gonna grab him and stamp him right there. So there's the crow. Oh my gosh, he's so cute. All right, let's clean that off. Now all of our stamping is complete. So I'm gonna punch our two leaves out first. So start with the first one. We're gonna stick it in here and we're gonna make sure that it's centered. And you can see more than the leaf got punched, but that's okay. This is trash, we'll throw that away. We're gonna slide down and do the second one. This is why I left a little room in between them. And you can see here's our second one. And part of a pumpkin got punched out. All right, so let's get rid of that trash and we'll fussy cut out our pumpkin and we'll work on our pick of the patch. So it says you're the pick of the patch. We're gonna turn that into a tag. And for our leaves, I'm grabbing some dimensionals, or I'm trying to. I'm gonna put a mini dimensional on the back of each of those leaves. All right, those will be ready when it's time. Okay, so for this piece here, we're gonna turn it into a tag. So the first thing we wanna do is just trim it straight. You know, give it some room at the top so that it could be tag-like. And then I'm just gonna angle cut the two ends, okay? The best I can, it doesn't have to be perfect. So there's our tag-like top. Now for the bottom, I'm gonna come in from the side and I am going to try and stop near the center. If I'm a little past it or a little bit short, it's okay, I'll fix it. And we're gonna come in from this side. I did cut it a little short. I'm always worried to go too far that the other side is gonna be way past. But we're just gonna go in from both sides until we get it about even. All right, so there's our little tag. This pieces here are not necessary. Let's go ahead and fussy cut our little bird out. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little dot in the center of that eye. All right, so there's that. And then I'm going to use light basic black. I want him to have a black beak, but I want to take some of that black away. So I don't know if you guys know, the color lifter is perfect for things like this. So what you want to do is come in here and just add a tiny bit of that color lifter. It's going to start lifting some of that color away. I think it's fantastic. All right, while it's doing its job, we're going to come over here and we're going to fussy cut. Yeah, I know you're not happy about that, but it's very quick and it's not very much to fussy cut. If you don't want the crow on there, but I mean, I think he's worth it. I think he's worth fussy cutting out. The feet are the worst part and they're really not that bad. So I'm gonna just hold on to him and go around this other foot. And then we're home free. Once we get past these feet, we are home free. So we're gonna come down this way. Whoops, I dropped him. The key is to hold on to your piece when you're fussy cutting, right? You don't wanna let go. I'm trying to come in here around this foot. All right, there we go. And to the end of the beak and around, and then we're good. See, that wasn't so bad. You can do it. All right, so for the pick of the patch, we're just gonna attach that with two dimensionals. I'm gonna use the regular size dimensionals, so let me grab those. I'm gonna put them near the top, like this. All right. So let's decorate our box. So remember, we got to find the front and the back. I've been twirling it around. Okay, this is the back. So since that's the back, the first thing we're going to do is add our tag. Then we're going to put our leaves. So we're going to kind of add our tag on the corner here. We want to make sure that it's sticking off. We're going to add our two leaves. I really should use my take your pick tool because these are going to be all over my craft room floor. Let's see if I can get them in the trash can before I make a mess. All right, here's one leaf. So we're gonna kind of put that off to the side there of that tag, and we're gonna bring this one in from this side. So cute. And then we're gonna add our little birdie's feet and the little bit of bottom of his belly. So I'm just gonna add a tiny bit of wet adhesive if I can get it going. There we go. I didn't think it was gonna come out. And so do his feet and the underbelly. And then he should grab perfectly well onto our tag. Right here where it says, "You're the pick of the patch." So I'm gonna kind of hold on to him for a second, but there he is. This is a really cute treat. I love that it is see-through. This Pick of the Patch bundle is fantastic. If you haven't checked it out yet, you can check in the description of the video. Just click see more. And when you click that, it'll take you to all my description. I have links to all the products that I've used today, the window sheets, the embossing folder, the bundle, the ink, the blends, the ribbon, the paper, everything is on there. And I hope that you have enjoyed watching me make this really cute little candy corn square pumpkin treat box. I think it's a really fun one to give to coworkers. You don't have to put candy corn in there. You can put anything you want, right? Just put a few like tiny chocolates, some Hershey Kisses. Lots of stuff will fit in there. It's a nice size box. It's about 2 inches by 2 inches. Or it might be a little bigger. Yeah, about 2 inches by 2 inches, I think is what I ended up making, because I was going to make it a little bigger and I thought it would be too big. But I hope that you enjoyed the project. If you didn't catch the video yesterday, I was live. If you missed the live, I'm going to link it right up there. So click on that and you can watch that replay. I made some adorable cracker treats with the cracker treat boxes. So if you're interested in that, check it out. I'm so happy to have you with me. Thanks for all your support. I appreciate the comments, the likes, the shares of the video. And thanks for being here, guys. I hope you're enjoying this Halloween treat projects. This is Kelly with Inky Hands Warm Hearts. Happy stamping. Don't forget, click right there.